was a CBS company, and the Mustang's thought of as one of the first solid designs of the CBS era by a lot of people. It was a cool little student guitar, but it was a little bit advanced from the Music Master and the Duosonic. They put this nice little vibrato unit on it that worked pretty well. It wasn't quite as versatile or as in tune as the Strat vibrato. Just a little bit of wobble out of the thing, but you know, for a budget guitar, it was a pretty good unit. It had some pretty good sounds. Different switching system here too. They had these three-way switches for an off position or an on for each. Or you could bring both pickups in together, in phase or out of phase, which was a kind of a that kind of funky, clacky, out of phase sound, or just one pickup or other. But it was a pretty popular little guitar. A lot of these were sold, and a lot of people still own them and enjoy them, and you know, had a lot going for it. 24-inch scale length. It was shorter than the Strat and the Tele. And they, after a few years, they started bringing out these incredibly cool racing stripe colors with some orange. I mean, what a rare custom color that is with the stripe. Or we've got a kind of a dark blue in here with a stripe. And they had a lot of fun with the Mustangs. They really went to town on the designs and the look of the things, and it was a lot of fun. Carl here has got this fantastic Fender Electric 12, which is just a beautiful guitar. This one in Fiesta Red. What do you think about that thing?
This thing is great. I'm amazed. I think these things were very much underrated at the time. I think Fender probably brought them out in '65 as a reaction to the success that the Byrds and the Beatles were having with the Rickenbacker 12s, which were obviously the first 12 strings ever to hit the market, electric 12s. And so the 12-string sound became associated with the Rickenbacker, not so much with the Fender. But just check the sound out of this thing. Really interesting sounding guitar. Apparently they didn't do that well. They didn't sell that many of them.
They weren't a huge hit, and I think the problem is it was a great design and a really cool guitar, and they designed a really fantastic bridge for it with individual saddles for each string, which is a pretty complicated unit there.
Yeah, unlike Rickenbacker, where you can't exactly tune up every string perfectly.
That's right.
You can't intonate every string. These little roller saddles, you can intonate them perfectly, and it's a great little guitar.
Nice piece of design, but I think Rickenbacker really had the mark, and I think the 12-string craze was slightly on the way out by the time Fender really got it out there, so they missed the boat a little bit.
Yeah, they got in late. Talk about this a little bit, Dave. This is a wacky
this is a wild little thing. This was called either a swinger or a music lander, or also called an arrow, I think, maybe because of the point of that thing. There's no model name on this one. It just says Fender. And they cut these out of the 12-string bodies because those weren't selling as well as they could, so they hacked them down. You can see they've cut a big lump out of this thing, and they've just chopped it down. And they used Mustang necks on the things. And just pieced together something to sell the leftover parts they had out of these. It's kind of showing how Fender was starting to, in the 60s, under CBS, they were really starting to crank out the guitars, and the production rates were going way, way up. And they were trying some more hit-and-miss things. You know, they'd had great success with the Stratocaster and the Telecaster, and to some extent the Jazzmaster. But they were trying to hit different points of the market, and sometimes not working it so well. And they came out with some real oddballs in the 60s, but they're a lot of fun to take a look at, you know. Kind of a cool little thing. It's just kind of a Music Master with a hacked up body.